LG is back at it again with yet another new mid-range smartphone. In this video, we're going to be discussing the LG K92 5G. So let's get started. Now, as of now, this device is only going to be offered by carriers. I don't know if, when, or ever it's going to be available as an unlocked phone. In addition to that, it's been announced that this phone will be making its way over to AT&T, Cricket, and US Cellular. Now, AT&T specifically has mentioned that the phone will be launching on November 6th, which is just a few days away from now. I don't know when it's going to be offered at Cricket, and I also don't know about US Cellular, but I can't imagine that it would be too far behind the AT&T launch. Now, AT&T is going to be running a special promotion for this phone, and actually, if you trade in an older Android device, you can get the K92 5G for free. Now, for me personally, I do intend on purchasing the phone so that I can review it here on the channel, and I will be purchasing the Cricket wireless variant. So as soon as I see it pop up on Cricket's website, I'm gonna be hitting that buy button. Now, I believe the MSRP for the phone is gonna be at $399. Don't quote me on that because it could be different from carrier to carrier. But again, we do know at least that AT&T is going to be offering very aggressive promotions to entice people to purchase this phone. So that's certainly a very good sign that Cricket and US Cellular will also offer very good deals in the phone. Now, that's all very exciting, but I think what's most exciting about this device is the design. The design of the K92 5G is certainly a bit different from many other LG mid-rangers that we've seen lately, especially when comparing it to the LG Velvet and also the LG Stylo 6. Now, both of those devices have water drop notches, whereas with the LG K92 5G, this device actually does have a hole punch for the front-facing camera in the center. So visually, at least when looking at the display, it does look very similar to the Galaxy A51 and A71. Now, we'll get into the specs in a second. I do want to discuss a little bit more about the design of this phone. And again, look at the pictures for yourself. You'll definitely notice that the design of this device is very different from anything we've ever seen from the company yet. And I have a feeling that the design of this phone probably will carry over to many other LG devices that launch between now and the end of this year, and also into 2021. I really like that this phone has very small bezels. That's great to see. Now, on the back of the phone, we also get a very interesting design. So it does feature a quad camera setup, but unlike many other companies, the camera module is not in a square or rectangle. And another cool thing too is the flash on the back. The flash looks like it has like 4 LEDs in it. Two other very interesting features about this phone as well is that we are getting a 3.5mm headphone jack on the bottom, and we're also getting stereo sound. Those are two very useful things. But now that we've gone over pricing, availability, and the design of the phone, let's go over the specifications. Now, with the LG K92 5G, we're getting a very large 6.7-inch display. Now, the display is IPS LCD. I do wish it was AMOLED or OLED. Unfortunately, it is not. However, it is a 1080p display, and we're getting a PPI of 393. We're also getting a 20:9 aspect ratio, and we're getting an 84.4% screen-to-body ratio. Now, in that front-facing camera, which again is a hole-punch front-facing camera, finally, LG is actually doing this with their phones, but it is a 16-megapixel front-facing camera. And then as far as the storage goes with the phone, we're getting 128 gigabytes of storage, and we're getting micro SD card expansion. Now, this device does feature a fingerprint sensor, and this is another interesting surprise to see from LG, that the fingerprint sensor is actually located on the power button. This is something that I actually really like quite a bit. Now, it is cool to have the fingerprint sensor in the display. I also don't mind it on the back of the phone as well. But really, for me personally, my preference is to have it on the power button. I feel like that's the most practical placement. And then for the cameras, we're getting a 64-megapixel main camera, we're getting a 5-megapixel ultra-wide-angle camera, we're getting a 2-megapixel depth sensing camera, and we're getting a 2-megapixel macro camera. And then we're getting portrait mode with the rear and front cameras. So I'm definitely excited once I get this phone to go out there and take a lot of photos and videos. And speaking of video, you can record video with the LG K92 5G at 4K with the rear camera, and then 1080p at 30 FPS with the front. Now, here's the really interesting part. With this device, we're getting 6 gigabytes of RAM, which is pretty decent, And we're getting the Qualcomm Snapdragon 690 5G processor. Now the 690 is a brand new processor from Qualcomm, and I have not yet tried a phone with that processor. So I'm really curious to see how that compares, especially to some of the 700 series processors that are a little bit older, but also from Qualcomm. And then with this device, we're getting a pretty beefy 4,000 milliamp hour internal battery. We're also getting NFC, which is awesome. We're getting Android 10 with LG Skin, and that's essentially everything about the LG K92 5G. So again, the device has not been launched yet, but as soon as it is, and as soon as I'm able to get one, I definitely plan on getting it to cover here on the channel. So I'm really curious to know what things you're especially interested in about this device. Let me know in the comment section below. Again, LG K92 5G, pretty awesome, pretty exciting. I'm really glad to see that LG is really changing things up, especially starting with this phone, giving us some fresh new designs, and I really hope it's an awesome device. But again, let me know what you think in the comment section below, but this is Kevin, and I'll see you in the next video.